I'm going to talk a little bit more about the black community. I want to welcome you to part 3 of Tell It Like It Is. I want to be honest with you. I don't want to be pulling no punches, setting nothing aside, because I'm about being the real deal when it comes down to this bullshit with the police. You know, all white police are not wrong. The ones that are doing the things, that pulling the triggers on these guns in the wrong type of situations, they are wrong. But you can't label every police department in the United States as being something wrong with that police department, because it ain't happening in every state in this country, or every city or county or parish in this country. It's happening in certain areas, and there's got to be a reason for it. You know, I can't in any kind of way justify why in my community, in my diverse community, a person see the police, the first thing they want to do is run. Why do you run when you see the police? Do you have warrants? Are you dealing drugs? Have you murdered somebody? What's your purpose to run? A police officer is just another human being in a police car. And when you run, the first thing that individual pops in his head is, what did he do? Is he wanted? That's why police officers chase people down who run. You have no reason at all to run from a police officer. Nine times out of 10, if you didn't take off running, that police officer would probably just bypass you and cruise right on down the street and make his little rounds and go right on about his business. Unless you're blocking the street, impeding traffic, or fighting, or he see you with something. Otherwise, he don't have any probable cause to stop and talk to you or do anything unless he just wants to speak to you. But when you run, that gives him a reasonable suspicion. Reasonable suspicion. You know, you standing there, he turned the corner, start down the road, and you look and you see him and you run. That's reasonable suspicion. I don't care what Professor Eric Dyson say, Dr. Purnell, or Dr. anybody. I don't give a damn what any of them say. Al Sharpton, anybody. I turn the corner, you standing on the corner, you look up and see me, the first thing you do is run. That's reasonable suspicion that something's going on. And if I make the decision to chase you down to find out why you running from me or why you're running, then I have probable cause to deal with you in that situation. You know, I look at these TV shows and I listen to these so-called professors and well-educated individuals who only is talking about this from their educational standpoint, their brainstorm situation. They don't even know what the state statutes say in a state, because they're not lawyers, they're not police officers, they're not lawyers, they're not any of that. They're just individuals that's being brought onto the news stations to speak about a situation. Now let's talk a little bit about police training in part 3 here. Let me explain something to you about police training, police academies. I've been to 4 police academies, 2 military police academies. And in military police academies, you're always taught to respect the people that you're dealing with. suspect, regular citizen, whatever. In those civilian academies, you're taught the same thing. You're taught to respect people, deal with them courteously, treat them like you would expect to be treated. And then in all of the academies, you're taught defensive tactics, how to deal with unruly people, how to use force, how much force you should use. You know, firearms training. You deal with that. You know, you're taught that lethal or deadly force is your last resort. Your last resort. After you have tried everything else that you can possibly try, you revert to lethal or deadly force. That's what you're taught in academies. Defensive tactics. You're taught defensive tactics. And defensive tactics are mainly to get a situation under control. Takedowns, different types of takedown, arm bar, flips, trips, whatever, to get the situation under control. You're not taught to do anything above the shoulders. You don't do any strikes, hits, punches, none of that stuff. You do not do it above the shoulders, the head area. Okay? You're not taught in the academy that once you get a suspect down, that you're to put your knee in his back. You're not taught any of that in police academies that I've been to. You're not taught any of that. Okay? So what you see police officers doing on takedowns, when they got somebody down, they putting their knee on their neck and holding their head down and all of that stuff, they're not taught that in the police academy. They can't go back and blame the police academy for teaching that, because the thing the police academy teaches you is not to do anything above the shoulder. Above the shoulder. You see the shoulder? You're not supposed to hit anybody above the shoulder with your nightstick. You're not supposed to punch them with your fist. You're not supposed to choke them. You're not supposed to do anything above the shoulders when it comes to defensive tactics. You know, you got this part of the body, you got arms, legs, stomach, you know, stuff like that. When you got a person down, you know, and it's not easy having a person down, especially if you're by yourself, to try to handcuff them if they want to resist. It's not easy doing that. Sometimes it results in some hard struggles and some hard fights. That's why you normally have one or two a couple of police officers on backup when you got a situation to where you got to arrest somebody, because the person most likely will resist when you try to put the handcuffs on. And it don't matter whether they're Afro-American or white or Hispanic. It don't matter. Woman, male, female, it don't matter. Usually when you get ready to put those handcuffs on that person is 9 times out of 10 is going to resist in some form or fashion. Okay? So in the training, and I'm just saying this, I'm just telling you this in this video because a lot of people are wondering why. Every time you see, even on these cop shows, you know, this dramatic bullshit on these cop shows, that things that they shouldn't be doing that they do, make it seem like that's universal. But that's not that's what is taught to you in the police academy. At least none of the police academies that I've ever been to. And if you do have to put your knee on a person, you're normally going to do it on his legs or her legs, to pin them down, to keep them from kicking or flailing or whatever. That's normally how it's done. Never have I ever been taught to put my knee down in the middle of somebody's back to handcuff them, because you can't handcuff anybody with your knee in their back. You can't do it if you handcuff them from behind. And that's how you handcuff people, from behind. You don't handcuff them to the front. Now, every time that you see people doing these things, those who are doing them, they're wrong. Okay? That's police officer training. It's not to do anything to anyone's body above the shoulders and no knees in the back or on their neck. That's procedure that you should not do. You should not put your knee on a person's neck. You should not put your knee on a person's back. Okay. Now, no training for the community, for the Afro-American community. Number one, treat people like you want to be treated. That means when that police officer show up, treat him with respect like you want to be treated with respect. Talk to him in a manner that you would want him to talk to you. Tell your friends and your buddy and your little dope dealing kookahala bottle over there and Peter, Paul, and Mary and John and Sam to get the hell away from you and leave the man alone and let him do his job. Answer the questions. Deal with the situation. Get your paperwork back if you got it. If you're clean, you walk free. If you're dirty, you go to jail. Just the bottom line. Stop hating people because of what their job is. You know, you ain't hating this person because he's a white man or a black man or a Jew or a Gentile or whatever. You hating him because you see that uniform in that car he's driving. That's what you hating on. You hating. He's just trying to make a day's work. He's just trying to make a shift to get his ass home to his family or whatever it is he got to do when he leaves work. That's all he's trying to do. But you player hating, and you player hating. The fucking police this, and the fucking police that, and I don't like no police. I don't want no police around my neighborhood. Get the hell out of my neighborhood. What you doing here? Why you stop me? Because I'm black? Stupidity is what makes the situations go bad. Now, I ain't no way in the hell I could even try to think about how it's justified that all of these shootings of black men by white police officers have been happening here the last couple of years. There ain't no way I can explain that. I don't think there's any way anybody else can explain it. It happened. Ain't nothing gonna change it because you can't change what already happened. You can march. This is another thing, you know, and I just gotta say this because now let me say it on my next one. Part 4. I'm gonna say it on part 4. But the black community need to get themselves together. Need to train your children how to deal with police officers. You don't go deal with police officers or anyone in general by yelling and screaming. You got to talk to people the way you want to be talked to. It don't matter if he's a police officer or your neighbor. You got to deal with people the way you want to be dealt with yourself. You know? And if you do happen to get a police officer that's getting out of the box with you, stay calm. Stay cool. Stay collective. And try to let him do his job without you becoming a victim of some bad situation that he has created. But if you create the situation, expect a bad outcome. You understand what I'm saying? You create the situation, expect a bad outcome. If he's creating the situation, stay calm, stay cool, be collected. And try to roll that situation back. So you can be safe. You can make it home. He can make it home, or you can make it to jail. He can bring you to jail for whatever it is. You have to deal with that situation afterwards. But keep your coups. Don't be running from the damn police for no reason to cause them to chase you, because if he see you, he turn the corner, he pull it up to you and you take off running, he has reasonable suspicion to chase you. He has that. I don't care what the damn Professor Eric Dyson or any of the rest of those professors and lawyers and all of that bullshit say. He has reasonable suspicion because you ran from him. He considered you running from him because when you saw that police car, you took off. So that's reasonable suspicion. Just that simple. Okay? Thanks for viewing this. Check out the next one. Ciao.